Welcome into another edition, Gravity Storm Live. It's another Saturday before a home game, so of course the Austin Bruins, we are here at Gravity Storm, 309 Main Street North, right on Main Street. Come on in, they are open for business. We've already got a good crowd here hanging out, enjoying some of the awesome brews that we can get at Gravity Storm. Just a reminder, Austin Bruins are home again tonight against the Aberdeen Wings. We're going to forget about Friday night. That didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about. We're going to get started tonight, 6:55 for the broadcast. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Tickets, very few. And when I say very few still remain. AustinBruins.com. Go to the tickets tab, go on down, single game tickets. Make sure you get yourself all booked up and ready to go for tonight. Doors open at 6 o'clock. We're going to have some Girl Scout cookies for sale at the arena tonight. We're also going to have some intermission games as we're going to get those back up and running. So if you think you want to come on out for some fun, the only place in town, Riverside Arena. TJ Shalott, voice of the Austin Bruins, here with Bruins forward John Lundy. And John, you and I have already talked, and it was pretty recently that we talked, and for those of you who didn't get the chance to listen to that interview, that's also on AustinBruins.com. Just go to the multimedia tab and you can check out all of our past interviews, including the one that we had with John. So you and I get to have a little bit of fun here today, because we talked about growing up in Brooklyn with you already, and we talked about how you got into hockey, which is some of the topics that I've touched on with Kyle and some of those guys, so we get to have some fun. And when I was thinking about this morning, I'm like, all right, so I got Brooklyn kid coming in. My first question, what are your thoughts on the Midwest pizza? Because I know my thoughts are not positive. I am not a fan of the Midwest style pizza coming from the East Coast. I love my dollar slice spots. What are your thoughts on the pizza around town?
I think we have the same thoughts when it comes to the pizza. But I'm not necessarily opposed to thick crust and stuff like that, but I feel like you might have to be in Chicago, not really in Minnesota for that. But pizza's pizza. I'll always eat it, but there definitely is a drastic difference.
Now here's a question I want to ask you, because we have Director of Game Night Operations Jared Becker here as well, and he is big into the Casey's breakfast pizza. Have you had any of the Casey's breakfast pizza yet?
I haven't.
That's awesome. So swing by Casey's and pick up some of that. It's basically a pizza, but it's got eggs and sausage, and it's awesome. It's really good breakfast food. Really good breakfast food. But I just wanted to get that out there. I wanted to see what a true New Yorker, what he thinks of the pizza out here. But so obviously you're here because unfortunately injured yourself in practice, and this is one of those injuries that you don't want to be necessarily proud of, but you want to be proud of. Like, you go so hard in practice, you hurt yourself in practice. Like, because that's your MO on the ice. You're a high motor guy. How much was that motor going in practice that you hurt yourself in practice? What happened?
Maybe a little too much, TJ, but it was just honestly it was really too fast to remember what happened. I just remember going in full speed, and maybe it was a rut or an edge gone, something like that. But that's really, I guess it's good. You're always going to the boards hard and fast, but maybe a little too fast. I might have to tone it down a little bit for practice. I'm not sure.
Well, the good news is it's not a bad injury. It doesn't sound like you're going to miss a significant amount of time, so you'll be back out there sooner rather than later. And how was it watching the games from the stands? Again, don't talk about last night. It doesn't exist. But what's it like watching the games from the stands? How much do you miss being out there?
Oh, yeah, I definitely miss being out there a lot, and especially just well, I was gonna bring up last night, but
no, it doesn't exist.
You're right.
It doesn't exist. It didn't happen.
But I just want to contribute, and it sucks we didn't do what we had to do last night. But I just if we were winning, I probably wouldn't have cared that much sitting out. But I'm just waiting to get back. I want to get back. So
when you were playing, obviously you scored that goal on Wednesday. It was the Bruins' second goal of the game, and then Brooksy tied things up just a little bit later. You were paired up with Peter Jacobs, Reggie Millette. That line was one of my favorite lines to watch, because all three of you guys, we already talked about your high motor, every single one of you guys are just grinded out, high motor, legs never stop moving kind of guys. How much fun was it playing with those guys?
Yeah, we played before together, but these last 2 or 3 games was especially fun just because we were really putting our hard work and everything together. We were putting pucks in the back of the net, which is good, keeping them out of ours, and it just felt good. I know a couple games before we started scoring, we kept, at the end of the game, be like, oh, if we keep playing like that, we'll score, we'll do this, but we were all getting tired of hearing that, so we started finally putting the puck in the back of the net, and they kept it going last night. Both those players played great last night. So
Both of them did get goals last night,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact. And I mean, then you go back to Wednesday. You had a goal, and Reggie had a goal in the Wednesday game, and Peter had an assist in that game. So it just kind of seemed like you guys complement each other so well. And for three guys who are so similar, so different, it almost looks like the perfect combination. You know,
feels like it.
it's really cool. And when I heard that you were out, that was the first thing I thought was, oh man, the line that we got moving, that we got clicking, we're going to be missing 33% of that line. But Carson Riddle stepped in and did a nice job for the Bruins last night. He's going to be on that line again tonight. Ended up with 2 assists, but that was my favorite line. I wish I was clever enough to come up with some kind of nickname for you guys in that regard, because it's just one of those things where all season long it seems like we've been saying you got to find chemistry. Got to find chemistry. That was the first real shocking, whoa, they've got chemistry. Like, oodles of chemistry. So we look forward to getting you back out there and things like that. So as you're injured, what are some of the things that you're doing to make sure that your game doesn't go stale?
The biggest, I mean, other than just recovering, other than ice, elevation, stuff like that, the biggest things are just trying to watch video, and I have a little more time for that now. So that's one thing that I just try to pick apart shift by shift, look what I'm doing right, look what I'm doing wrong. And other than that, I mean, it's just try to always just keep doing something, whether it's watching hockey or playing a video game, not too much, but we have to play some NHL sometimes, and just try to kill as much time until you get back, really, until you start doing stuff, and because that's what you really enjoy. That's why you come out here. So I'm just waiting to get back.
So who's your billet brother right now? Who are you with?
I'm with Shredder.
Shredder. Okay. So are you guys here in Austin, or are you outside of town?
We're well, I'm not really sure. We're definitely close to the rink. We're about 10-minute drive from the rink, but
Okay.
if I had to say, we're just a step outside of Austin.
Okay, all right. So do you find yourself hanging out with him more than anybody else, or do you have like a certain set of guys that you're just kind of palling around with?
Yeah, we hang out a lot. I guess Coach Howard always messes with us saying that it's just because we're from New York, so we stick together.
Well, then what about Walter's? Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So
Gotcha.
we always get stuff to eat.
Gotcha.
We always end up eating at Dexheimer and Zacher's Billet House a lot.
Okay, that's Sue Stoll.
Sue, yeah,
Oh,
she's
a great cook. She's what an
the
asset.
best.
What an asset to the team. She's our healthy habits coordinator and helps us get out in the community and
Fixes the shells,
things.
socks,
She's
everything.
our seamstress and puts all of our names on our jerseys and stuff. She's such an asset. We're so happy to have her. And gosh, she takes so much off of my plate and Jim Seguin's plate, and as a billet. So it's pretty awesome to have her there. But we're down here at Gravity Storm, 309 Main Street North. We're right next to Piggy Blues. Come on down. I'm enjoying a root beer today. We've got Bruins Brown on tap at Riverside Arena. Make sure you come on out and get those. Tickets are still available for tonight. AustinBruins.com. We got more with John Lundy coming up on the other side. We're going to go mingle. There's a great crowd here already. All Bruins fans, lots of black and gold in here. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back inside Gravity Storm Live. We are here live at Gravity Storm Brewery, 309 Main Street North here in Austin. We're here every single Saturday before a home game, so naturally that must mean there's a home game tonight, and there is. The Austin Bruins taking on the Aberdeen Wings, looking for a little bit of revenge after last night's 5-2 loss at Riverside Arena. Tickets are still available, austinbruins.com. You can go to the tickets tab, scroll on down to the single game tickets, fill out the form, get your tickets, pay for everything online. It's super easy. That way you just come on in and you got your paper, you go up to the window, get your tickets, walk right in. So we've got Girl Scout cookies at the game tonight. We're going to have intermission games at the game tonight, plus all the other fanfare that you expect, Chuck a Puck and all the awesome intro with the fog, all that good stuff, all at Riverside Arena tonight. It's the Bruins take on Aberdeen. This will be the last home game of February. It'll be the last home game for about 2 weeks. They're not back until Thursday, March 11th. At Gravity Storm, they've got plenty going on. They've got music here tonight. Dylan Fett will be performing. They also have music coming up in the next couple weeks as well. So stop on in, hang out with us here at Gravity Storm. Check them out. They'll be open tonight until 10 o'clock. So come on out. They're also our road game destination. So as I mentioned, the Bruins are not going to be home for a little while. Well, if you're not going to be traveling with the team, if you're not coming out to Chippewa or to Aberdeen with us, head on out here and you can catch the game on Hockey TV on their TV in the back. A lot of Bruins fans like to come on out here as a road game destination. So we're thankful for Gravity Storm. We're thankful for you guys tuning in. TJ Shalott, John Lundy, Bruins forward. So, as we talked about earlier, we've gotten through a lot of the where John Lundy comes from stuff, so we're just kind of having a little bit of fun. I want to hear from you who you think the best chirper on the team is. I asked this question of, I think, Alex Trombley, and he gave me an answer, and I want to see where it lines up. Because last night there was a lot of chirping, there was a lot of talking. Who do you think's got the best chirp game?
Well, there's a bunch of guys that like to run their mouths a lot. I know, I mean, when you think of chirping, I know Reggie just comes up first, but I don't know if he likes to give it out a lot, but I don't know really if he has the quality of what he says, which is really
okay. Really so he's funny. More of a quantity versus quality guy.
I think Frank might have it. Frank might have it. He doesn't do a lot of talking, but when he does, you can't stop laughing. So I think he says a lot of funny things and gets under people's skin. So I think it might be Frank.
All right, the good old Wisconsin boy with some good chirping. I mean, he's been around. He's been in junior hockey for quite a few years now, as he's here in Austin for his first year. But all right, Frank was the first time, because I think I've heard Reggie, I've heard Riddle a little bit. He likes to talk and some stuff like that. But I don't think that I've heard Frank. So that's a good one. That's pretty good. How's Connor doing with his chirp game these days? I mean, he always reminds me of a speak softly, carry big stick kind of guy. But when he does talk, it's like everybody listens, including when he chirps. Is that true?
I mean, if he was to chirp me, I would really just skate away. I wouldn't give him much of my attention. He doesn't really have to do a lot of talking. You look at him and that's pretty much all you have to. The message is received.
It's like when you're growing up and your parents just give you that look and you're like, all right,
that's it.
All right, I won't do it again. I won't do it again.
That's it.
What do you think the Bruins got to do in this game tonight against Aberdeen to really kind of take them over the crest? They played 40 really strong minutes last night. We're leading 2-0 after 2 periods. What do you think the boys got to do if you were a head coach here, or if you were John Lundy in the locker room tonight and you weren't sidelined on the IR? What would you be telling the boys? Like, hey, this is what we got to do tonight.
Well, I think the most common basic thing to say is just 60 minutes, which is true. You really need 60 minutes against a team like Aberdeen. But I think the biggest thing for us tonight is just get the puck out of the zone quickly. Our breakouts were good for the first 2 periods. I think that's why we were doing so good, getting the puck back and forth. But yeah, I think our breakouts, clean breakouts, are a big thing, and just getting the puck down there. I know as soon as the third period rolled around, we really didn't get that much ozone time, and that's when the tide started to change. So just up and out and in their zone. I think that's the biggest thing we can do.
I want to go back to your hometown a little bit, Brooklyn, New York kid. So we were talking off camera. There's a handful of families here enjoying Gravity Storm and Bruins fans left and right. So there's a big table right here. Come on down, join us, hang out with us for a little while. We were talking about how Austin, the Spam Museum is kind of like the tourist destination in Austin. A lot of people come check out Gravity Storm, check out Spam Museum, maybe Steve's Pizza, something along those lines. You're from New York. You were from the home of tourism. So as a local, when people talk to you who have never been to the city before, what recommendations do you give them? It could be a touristy spot like Times Square or something like that, or it could be something underground. What do you tell people? Hey, when you're coming into town, let's do this.
I think the biggest thing is just the food. I think if I'm sort of a picky eater, so I'll just stay to my certain things. But if you like a lot of different types of food, exotic types of food, then I think that's just pull up your Google Maps or whatever and just find out just different places to eat, stuff like that. I think that's the best thing to do. And really, I really don't do that much tourist things. I guess.
Well, you live there, so it doesn't matter.
So for that part, I mean, I've been to Statue of Liberty once, which was cool. I've been to Ellis Island, which is actually really cool, seeing some of my family's history there.
That's
as
awesome.
they got in America.
That's really cool.
And I think Ellis Island, for a tourist place, I think that's the place where you're going to get the most information and cool stories and see how people came here and got their life started. I think that was pretty cool.
One thing that I did, this was back in 2015, they have, I don't want to call them booze cruises because they're not really booze cruises, but you can actually rent out a spot on a sailboat on Chelsea Pier and then go around Ellis Island, and they just serve you drinks the whole time.
Yeah.
So me and my girlfriend went up there for a day, and we spent some time, Chelsea Station Terminal and all that stuff, and then we went and around sunset, you go around, the Statue of Liberty, you got to see One World Trade Center, and they're just feeding you champagne. It was like, oh, okay, all right, this is awesome. That was a really cool thing, but it was like a touristy thing, but not a touristy thing. Like, a lot of people would think to go to Ellis Island, but would they think that you could go up to Chelsea and just rent out or get on a boat where people are going around and have like a little party? I don't know that they would know that. So you're a picky eater. That's cool. I'm a picky eater too. So what kind of foods do you get looked at sideways for not eating? I get so many people looking at me like, you're not going to eat that? No, I don't like it. Leave me alone.
I would say number one for me is sushi.
Okay. How do you feel about fish in general?
I like fish. I just like cooked fish.
Okay, so no raw fish.
Undercooked fish. I'm more of a simple eater. You won't find a lot of things that I don't like, but if you start adding a bunch of different sauces, a bunch of different toppings, things like that,
you're not.
Yeah, I just like to get it down my system. That's it.
What's your death row dinner? So you're on death row, you get your last meal. What's your dinner?
I think I just circle back to my conversation before and just say pizza.
Oh, okay.
Plain and simple. Pizza.
Where would you order it from? Because obviously when you're on death row, you can order from anywhere you want, right? You can have whatever pizza you want. Where are you ordering from? Do you have a little neighborhood shop?
Yeah, there's a place near me called L&B Sony Gardens.
Okay.
And, we got rated a little low on Barstool, which was disappointing, but...
What do you give it?
He gave it I think it was in the 7s, which was disappointing.
No, that's about fair for him. Did he call it football pizza?
No, he just, well, first of all, he tried the triangle, which the place is known for their Sicilian slices.
Okay.
So that was his first mistake.
But he doesn't ever try the Sicilian or the deep dish. If he's always just going for the flat, round triangle, like you call it, and
I guess I gotta respect his decision, but if I had anything to say with it, it would be in the 8s. So, Dave Portnoy, if you ever get L&B Sony Gardens again, make sure to rate it higher. That's all I gotta say.
Heard it right here. I like his ratings and stuff. Have you gone to any of the other places that he's done? I mean, there's a million pizza joints around you, I'm sure.
I went to
Are they all kind of fair?
He gives his honest ratings. I'll give him that, but he gives what he thinks. But I went to the place that he rated the highest, and
John's on Bleecker?
Yeah, and it wasn't all that.
Really?
So, yeah, it was good pizza, but I think L&B has it.
Well, he likes that New Haven style, New Haven, Connecticut style. Yeah. See, I'm not a fan. Like everything that he calls football pizza, which to him is just a basic average. Invite your buddies around and eat some football pizza. That's my jam. Like that's what I want. And I think that's why I like the dollar slice places so much because that's what they make, and you're just out there and you're grabbing dollar slices, and I think that's the best stuff. So that fancy, New Haven style, or some of those margaritas with the full-blown basil leaves and all that.
Big chunky tomatoes. No.
Not my type. No, don't.
Your stomach might be hurting a little bit after the dollar slices, but
that's all right. That's all right. But it's the good drunk food. When your stomach's impervious to anything else, you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. But you'll find out about that in a few years. TJ Shalott, John Lundy here at Gravity Storm Brewery, 309 Main Street North. Come on out. It's getting busier by the second. I am not kidding. We can turn this around. Check this place out. Check this place out. We got all sorts of stuff going on here. Full bar here at Gravity Storm. Come on out, see us. I'm going to try and put this down back where I got it from. Let's see. I can't. We'll be right back with more with John Lundy right after this. We're back, Gravity Storm Live, our final segment. We're normally done at 2 o'clock. We're having so much fun here in between these little segments because Gravity, it's just so much fun to chit-chat and hang out with everybody, and we kind of lost track of time. TJ Shalat, the only one on camera right now. Let me fix that. Slide that on over. All right. There we go. There we go. Live television. Streaming television, folks. Streaming television. We'll get this figured out. Get this figured out. All right, you stay there. Let's hold the shift button. Let's see if that works. There we go. Technical difficulties. There we go. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. I can't do this off the air to check things out, so it is what it is. But anywho, Gravity Storm Brewery, 309 Main Street North here in Austin. TJ Shalat, John Lundy, now that he's in frame. So I want to talk to you one more time. You're an East Coast guy. Your affiliations in pro sports. Are you all New York, being a Brooklyn kid?
I'm not. I'm mostly New York.
Let's go through the major four. Football.
Jets.
Baseball.
Yankees. Die-hard Yankees.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Because you grew up when the Yankees, well, when have they not been good? Never mind. Basketball.
Nets.
Now, did you switch to the Nets when they moved to Brooklyn, or were you following them when they were in Jersey?
Bandwagon. I'm not really a basketball guy, but if a team has Brooklyn on their chest, I
Okay.
won't watch them, but I'll root them on.
So, when they were the Jersey Nets, you could care less?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that must mean hockey.
And that's the wild card. That's the Blackhawks. I grew up a big Patrick Kane fan, so my dad bought me center ice. I could watch all the games, and I would always just watch him.
That's quite a sacrifice from your dad, because I know your family's pretty big Ranger fans. I met your grandfather a couple weeks ago. He was wearing a Ranger sweater at a Bruins game, our Bruins game, so I know that they're pretty diehard. So it's a big sacrifice, you know. I mean, I'm sure he begrudgingly bought you those. Oh, my kid's a Blackhawks fan, but
a lot of fights, a lot of arguments.
Do you guys have like a little tally to see who's in the lead in terms of wins and going up against each other?
We didn't need a tally. We would always just give it to each other. We were always in each other's ears, so.
Oh man, that's awesome. But you know, you need some kind of team that's won recently, other than the Yankees, right? I mean, the Jets haven't been good for quite some time. And
most likely won't be for a while.
what are you hoping that they end up doing this year in the draft?
Well, it's always a quarterback, right? I mean, they can't really get it right with quarterbacks. So I guess if they have a shot at a quarterback, I guess they gotta go.
They gotta go with Justin Fields or something along those lines, or whoever else.
And a whole new front office too.
Yeah, I think that's the big problem. It reminds me, we've talked to a lot of Detroit kids and kids who are fans of the Lions on the show. The Lions could never get it right with wide receivers. They went like #1 overall pick, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. Then they finally get Megatron, and they couldn't get anything else right. And I feel like that's just kind of where the Jets are. And going back to, I remember I have a good friend who's back home. He's a Jets fan. And it was the year Geno Smith was drafted. Okay. And there was rumor that the Eagles, I'm an Eagles fan, were possibly going to take Geno Smith. So he hops on Twitter and goes, if the Eagles take Geno Smith, I will laugh my bleep off for days. He's a big Jets fan. Jets take Geno Smith. I was laughing so hard. It was my turn to instant karma. Exactly right. Well, John, I wish all of your major 4 sports teams luck, because they really don't coincide with any of mine. If you would have said you were a Ranger or a Giants fan particularly, get out. Get out. But I like the Jets, mainly because they don't threaten anybody. But thanks for taking the time coming out here, having a root beer. Now I've jumped into the American Pilsner. This is pretty good. If you like Mick Golden, you like Miller Lite, this is 10 times better. 10 times better. Come on down to Gravity Storm. TJ Shalat, John Lundy, we'll talk to you guys. It's going to be a while, because our next Saturday home game isn't until I think it would be the 19th of March. So we'll see you then. Come on down to Gravity Storm. They're here every day, all during that time. Take care, everybody.